So the Seahawks made a goal line stand of their own, exacting a little bit of revenge, but of course the Patriots have the more important goal line stand. But with that being said, I've got a new number one team at the top. You guys may not like it. Kyle Gaffner is here. I'm Adrian Fedke. Your number one team, do you have a change up top as well?
I do. I've got Seattle at number one this week.
Okay. So you went Seattle. I see. This is the thing about these rankings, because if I was the Eagles, like the way you kind of look at it too, is like if I was the Eagles, I would rather play Dallas in the playoffs than Seattle. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But Dallas is my number one team this week because they're 8-1. They're the best team record-wise in the NFL. So I always get like confused with the power rankings and how they kind of work because, like, for me, I still think the Patriots are the best team in the league. And I think the Seattle Seahawks are the second best team in the league. And nothing is going to change my mind from that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you can't really go off of record-wise, even though sometimes you see yourself doing that, because why not throw a team that's 8-1 up there? Because they deserve to be at the top because of, yes, their record. But sometimes teams have played better than what their record is.
Yeah.
No, I think that's how you would just go off of judging some of these. But, I mean, the Cowboys, the Patriots, that was such a good game last night. But, wow.
Fantastic game. And we'll talk about the Patriots when we get to them. But the Seahawks, man, I mean, Russell Wilson played a great game. And Doug Baldwin is one of the most underrated receivers in the league. People have no idea how good he is.
So talented. He is very underrated. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because he's not really a big-time receiver. I don't know if it's his body size. He's just a chippy guy, you know. He runs really great routes. He killed the Patriots. He killed Malcolm last night. He was burning them left and right. I mean, and this guy was the superstar of the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, he cut him down, but Russell Wilson looked great last night. Looked like he was more mobile, more comfortable. And that offensive line's it's playing collectively better. Tom Cable has really gotten this group together. By no means they are not good at all, I don't think. They've just gotten some continuity going, and they play great against the team that can't really get a pass rush on them.
Yeah. You know what Doug Baldwin does really, really well? Because obviously we know about Russell Wilson and his scrambling ability. He does really good on the backyard football, getting open when he's scrambling, finding the open spaces in the field, coming back towards the ball, stuff like that. And that's what Doug Baldwin is adept at, and that's why he's so good with Wilson, why they've built this rapport together, I think.
He shredded the zone last night because as he was that right before half, you didn't know if they were going to score. You know, he scrambles out to the right, wide open, and there's Dougie Baldwin.
Yeah. And the officials got it right this time. They got it right. That was not a pass interference.
No, it wasn't. I completely agree, and I'm glad they didn't go out there and end the game like that. The Patriots were looking for it. I think on that play, though, Gronkowski punctured his lung.
Yeah, he's got a punctured lung. Yeah, I saw that today.
So I wonder if it was from that play, but how big was Cam Chancellor last night, saving that touchdown at the end by him grabbing LeGarrette Blount's feet? Like, I know a lot of people thought that was a touchdown, but he stopped him. I mean, it was very, like, a centimeter shy of the breaking the goal line, but, wow, incredible goal line stand. Funny how it ended that way, too, because that's the same exact way it ended 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. So a little ironic there.
Yeah. Now let's move on to the Cowboys. You know, I'll tell you what, they're playing some really good football. I mean, I've been thinking they've been legit all season. They got a pretty good defense. I don't want to say pretty good. It's average, but it's a lot better than it's supposed to be. And I've made this point on a preview show, like before the season even started. I'm like, hey, Rod Marinelli, this guy knows what he's doing. He can take shit and turn it into gold. And he can just – he has all these parts, and he's just somehow he's built this cohesiveness with that defense. But obviously it starts with, the rookies, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. Elliott, again, I mean, he's over 1,000 yards rushing now. He could be not only the offensive rookie of the year, he might win MVP, and that would be insane.
To get both honors would be nothing short of great for this man. I mean, he's well deserving of the top four pick that he was in this year's draft. He looked incredible again last night or yesterday. He can run the ball. He can.
Kind of last night. It ended last night.
Yeah, I guess kind of. He just wow. I mean, you got to give credit to the big uglies up there too. I mean, that offensive line just to go with this dynamic running back. It's a match made in heaven for Jerry Jones. You know, Jerry Jones is just slopping in his own shit right now because this man finally has, I think, another team that could really go the long way, go the distance again.
Yep.
But what Rob Marinelli gets, he gets the most out of his guys. No, they don't have the sexiest names out there, but they have a few really good players. And Sean Lee, I like Byron Jones, DeMarcus Lawrence.
I love Byron Jones. I wanted the Eagles to draft him real bad.
He's great. He can play the safety. He can play the corner. He's a big athletic guy. Sean Lee's all over the place, and he's healthy finally. So when that defense is healthy, or when he's healthy, that defense just plays a lot better with him out there. That defensive line is just getting to the quarterback, and they're fast. They kind of remind me of Seattle's defense, the way they get to the ball carrier really fast. Right when they just slam, they break through the line. I mean, it's just, God, can you see this team actually go to the Super Bowl?
No.
Can we actually say this? Can Dak Prescott pull the unbelievable and bring this team to the promised land?
No, it's not happening. It's not happening. You know what's going to happen? The Eagles are going to make the playoffs. They're going to win their wild card game. And they're going to beat them in the NFC divisional playoffs. Yep.
That would be awesome if that did happen.
Yeah, I'm just dreaming now. But I don't know. I just don't see them beating Seattle. I just don't see it. I don't. I don't see it right now.
Well, was it last year or 2 years ago when they went up to Seattle and beat them? I think it was
different in the playoffs. It's different, much different. Seattle kind of lollygags through the regular season.
They pick up momentum throughout. When it gets towards the end of the
second half starts. Yeah, that's what they do it every year now.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of, all right, let's talk about this point now, because now, they say that you shouldn't draft a running back in the top 10. We've seen it last 2 years now, and this was after a stretch where running backs weren't even getting drafted in the first round. So we've had Todd Gurley and Ezekiel Elliott, and next year's running back class is going to be pretty dynamic. Starting up top, you got Leonard Fournette, you got Dalvin Cook. So maybe this is the start of a trend. I don't know, but the way Dallas is winning, I mean, they're using their offensive line. They're controlling the game with the offensive line. They're controlling the game with Ezekiel Elliott, and Dak Prescott is not making mistakes. And because they're controlling possession and controlling the game, that's basically their defense. And that's why their defense has been so good. And we saw this recipe yesterday in the Eagles game. Maintain possession of the ball, keep that potent Falcons offense off the field. And that was the Eagles' defense more than anything, was their offense.
True. And a lot of the times the best way to beat a high-octane offense is to leave them on the sidelines, just eat up clock. I'm a true believer in this smash-mouth football. You just take your big uglies, push them forward, and then just keep running the football. And they
got an offensive line to do it, though. And Dallas does have one, obviously.
Yes, they do, and they've got a great running back, too. For him to even break 1,000 yards, we're only in week 10. I mean, this guy averages what he's been doing every year. He could touch, Tony Dorsett's record, if that could even be possible. And that hasn't been touched since 1977. So for them to have this triplet of players like they did, Des Bryant is healthy again. Dak Prescott, I thought, didn't look as dynamic and as crisp as he has in the past couple of weeks. He was a little flustered yesterday. But in the big moment, he came up and they shut it down. They leaned on Ezekiel Elliott and the big uglies, and they shut it out, man. In Pittsburgh too, who's been very good at home.
Yeah, it was a nice win for them, and I hope they get overconfident. I hope they go into the postseason 14-2, and then they lose in the fucking first game, that divisional playoff round. So, yeah,
Tony Romo will start crying. They'll bench Dak. He'll put Romo in, and he'll blow it. Perfect script.
Yeah. All right. So Dallas is number 1 on my list. Seattle is number 1 on your list. I actually have Seattle at number 3. I have New England at number 2 still, even though there's some concerns with the Patriots because, dude, trading Jamie Collins is a dumb idea. they're not pressuring the quarterback right now. They traded Chandler Jones during the offseason. They need that extra punch up front. I get it. You can win games with Tom Brady. I mean, he can do whatever he wants, basically. But he kind of had an off game yesterday, a little bit by his standards. And, that Seattle offensive line is not very good. It's improving, but it's still not very good. And the fact that you really couldn't get that much pressure on Russell Wilson, it's a little bit of a concern for New England moving forward. And now if Gronk is out, who knows? Maybe I should put Seattle number 2. Actually, I switch it now as I'm describing it. Seattle's my number 2 team.
And their defensive line without Michael Bennett, who's been an Achilles heel to the Patriots over the years, wasn't even playing last night. So their young rookies had stepped up and got to him as well. They don't have the greatest line, as we know. They have LeGarrette Blount. They've got a very good offense. Their defense looked a little shaken last night, though. They can't pressure the quarterback. They traded Chandler Jones, Jamie Collins. So this could be Bill Belichick's ego getting in the way a little bit. Oh, we don't want to pay them. We can put anybody in here in this system, and we're going to flourish. But it didn't seem like it. They had that Flowers guy I've never really heard of. I think he was an undrafted guy out of Arkansas. He really wasn't getting pressures on George Fant, who was a 5th-round pick, I believe, out of Western Kentucky. You really couldn't get on him. And then you got Gary Gilliam, who isn't the biggest mauler either. So I'm surprised they couldn't really crash on there. Who took over for Jamie Collins? It was a young rookie.
By the way, George Fant, I think, was undrafted.
Was he? He was undrafted?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
Dude, I'm blanking on the Patriots right now. Go ahead, just talk. I'll think.
Well, it didn't seem like he was starting. They're just rotating a lot of the guys. They're not really having him solidified to where Jamie Collins could do a lot. He could cover. He was a really good blitzing linebacker. You could put him off the edge. He could do a lot of things in that system. So I think they should have just paid the man and kept him in there. Because now let's see if this is going to be a downfall for the Patriots. Probably not, because you do still have Tom Brady, and most of the time you could blow out these guys, and you're in a pretty weak division anyway. But I don't know, man. This could affect the Patriots coming down.
I guess they thought Markevius Mingo and Kyle Van Noy, those were the answers. Shea McClellan.
Well, you know what was surprising, too? They benched Jabal Sheard, their leading sacker. Why would you not have him out there against such a weak offensive line? And an experienced offensive line. I didn't really understand that either. So Bill Belichick, he's a masterful guy. He's a very brilliant guy, but I don't know what he was thinking last night. I would have had that man out there on either side ripping up these tackles.
Bill Belichick kind of reminds me of some guy and used to coach for the Eagles last couple of years.
Yeah, Chip Kelly, a little bit of an egomaniac.
A little bit of Chip Kelly.
A little bit of Chip, could it be?
At least Bill has Tom Brady at his disposal.
And 4 rings.
Yeah. Tom Brady's helps. Yeah, so, man. The linebackers, Landon Edwards. Maybe that's the guy that was for Collins. Dallas. All right, so I have Seattle. I don't know. I still think the Patriots are the best team in the league. They would still be the favorites for the Super Bowl, I think. But Seattle, I think Seattle's the best team in the NFC. I think New England's the best team in the AFC. Dallas is like a wild card. We'll see what happens with them moving forward. They're legit. I don't know. You got rookies there. You got inexperience. When it comes to the playoffs, it's a different animal.
True.
I think Dallas, in terms of winning a Super Bowl, they're more 2 or 3 years away than winning it this year. I think that's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think Seattle, they're still ready to win it right now. So I would, because of the experience factor, I would give the Seahawks the edge. And I'm not saying that because I hate Dallas. That's just how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And they've been lucky and they've been fortunate enough not to be bitten by the injury bug either. They've all stayed healthy. Other than Tony Romo, they've been solidified with not really being hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, they've had some cornerback getting hurt lately, but their big players have been, I guess. All right, so number 2 and number 3. All right, so who are your number 2 and number 3 teams? And then
I had the Patriots at number 2.
Okay.
And number 3, I got the Chiefs.
Oh wow, so Dallas isn't even in your top three. So
No, I'll explain why they're not my top three.
Okay. By the way, he's not an Eagles fan, so it's not like he's hating on Dallas.
No.
So Kansas City, we'll get to number 3 with them. I got them at number 4. So, basically the same positioning. They got a win against Carolina yesterday. Cam Newton it was Kelvin Benjamin fumbled, and the Chiefs went and kicked the game-winning field goal. I'm a big Chiefs guy. I like the Chiefs a lot. I like their defense a lot. They're starting to pressure the quarterback a lot more, and they're on a hot streak right now.
They are. Andy has proven it year in and year out. He's gotten stronger as the year goes on. Their defense is great. Eric Berry had a pick 6, though, to get them back into the game before Kelvin Benjamin fumbled to kick that game-winning field goal. So that was huge for them, but they can't pressure the quarterback. They've got stars all around that team on the defensive side of the ball. Justin Houston still isn't 100%. Once he gets back, that's going to add another element over there. They got Marcus Peters, Eric Berry I just touched on. But they've got that dynamic of the 3 running backs that you saw the Eagles do yesterday. They do the same thing, and Doug Peterson has gotten that from Andy Reid. So you just keep churning the ball, churning the legs. Jamal Charles is starting to get a little bit more healthy, but I like Spencer Ware there. I'm a big fan of him. He's, I think, a very underrated guy. They've got a decent line. I don't think they've got the best line in the league, but they got a smart quarterback there too. Yeah. He's not going to put up great numbers. He's not going to throw for 300 yards, but he's smart. He moves the chains, and he can get into the end zone. That's all you really need to do, and get into field position to win the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I like the Chiefs, as I said. I mean, before the season, that was my pick to go to the AFC Championship game and play the Patriots. Chiefs are very, very good. So that's that. All right, so Dallas number 4, or is it somebody else?
Nope, I got them at number 5.
Jesus. All right, who's your number 4?
I got the Oakland Raiders at number 4.
Okay. Yeah, I got them at number 5. So basically the top 5 teams are basically going to be all the same, for a lot of power rankings. But, yeah, Oakland was on a bye, obviously. But, I mean, we say it every week. Derek Carr is awesome.
He's going to play himself into a new contract. They've been talking with him. They got him in the 2nd round. I don't know how this guy was even overlooked. I don't know if it was because of his brother. I don't know if that kind of hindered him a little bit.
They're going to a small school, maybe. I don't know. Fresno State.
Yeah, because he went to Fresno State, maybe.
Carson Wentz went to an FCS school, and he went number 2 overall. So.
I mean, I hope scouts don't look at it that way. I would hope not, because we've seen it over the years. It doesn't matter where you play. If you can play ball, you can play ball with the best of them. Stars that shine through over the years. The dude is just a gunslinger. He's made huge strides from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, and year 4. Imagine what he's going to do in year 5. But I think they found their franchise quarterback. He's got a gunslinger's mentality. I love his long ball. I think it's so perfect. And he's got Amari Cooper there, Crabtree, and he's got a really great offensive line. And they control. If you watch that game when they played Denver, that left side of that line just slaughtered Denver's defensive line. I mean, they own them completely. But
Penn's a good player.
He's awesome. And then they got Osimile there that they signed. So they haven't been this good since 2002. And for them to have this guy, they're going to play him into the huge contract. I want to see more consistency out of the defense, though. They played better when they played Denver. They shut down that run game. Trevor Simeon's not the greatest player, but they played well, and they took advantage of that some injuries on that defense. I really like them, though. I could see them going to the AFC Championship just because of how good their offense is.
Yeah, I can see it, too, just because the AFC just really isn't that good. Like how many great teams are really in the AFC, So Pittsburgh right now, who knows? Kansas City's good. I like New England. And then after that, who?
You really don't have anybody.
Yeah, there's no one there. So it wouldn't be surprising at all. So, yeah. All right. So let's get to your number 5 team and why you have Dallas at number 5.
I've got Dallas at number 5. You had said it already, though. It's the inexperience. Dak Prescott is going to fumble up at some point. He's been playing great, but it is a different monster when you get into the playoffs. It's a clean slate at this point. Doesn't matter how you got in there. The pressure, he said he's played under the big lights. That's why he doesn't get shook or anything like that. But when you're playing for your playoff life here and you're playing the best of the best at this point, I think it's going to get to him and he's going to make mistakes. It's just different. You're going to see different packages. People have studied your film throughout the years, so they're going to see some of your weaknesses, and I think they're going to attack it. So I think if they do, which they probably will get in at some point, I don't know if it is a wild card or not, but at some point he is going to foul up. And I think that's where Tony Romo might come into play as kind of like their ace under their sleeve, I could say. If they do get in, he starts playing bad, do they hook him and then put Tony Romo in there? I don't know. He's had the playoff experience. It hasn't been the best, but he's
he has playoff experience, yeah.
It hasn't been the best. He's 2-4 in the playoffs, but at least he has that under his belt.
I would rather have Dak Prescott than Tony Romo in the playoffs.
I do too, but the inexperience, that's a big factor, man. It's a big factor.
No, it is. I believe in that. I really do. Because, like, the way it kind of works is, like, if you – like, the way the teams are built, when you really make your first playoff experience as a team, like the core guys, I mean, I know Dez has been there and, like, Witten. I know. I get all that. But guys like Dak and Zeke, I mean, it's like it's a learning experience more than anything the first time around. And that's why I say, like, when I say, you know, they're ready to win maybe 2 to 3 years from now, that's what I mean by that. You guys, I know you Dallas fans are going to knock me for that. That's fine. But this is going to be a great team moving forward. I don't think they're ready to beat Seattle. I just don't see it right now. And, you know, I can see them reaching the title game. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, if they get home field advantage, I can see it. But when, I mean, all the chips on the table, I would think, you know, I'm taking Seattle every time, at least right now.
I would too, just because of how great that defense is, and they have Russell Wilson. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But to touch back on Tony Romo and his poor success in the playoffs, yeah, he's messed up a lot, but he hasn't had a team like he has now. So he's had.
Yes, I mean, they've been a number one seed before in 2007.
But look how weak the NFC was at that point. They weren't great. The AFC was always a powerhouse.
How good is the NFC right now, though? It's not really that great. Except Seattle.
When has he ever had a great running back and a great offensive line all together like this? You got Dez Bryant. I mean, the stars are aligned. The weakest point is their defense, I think.
What were they in 2007? Were they 12-4? I think they were 12-4. And then they were 12-4 a couple years ago, 2 years ago. We had the same team 2 years ago, basically, without Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, I mean he looked pretty good 2 years ago. I'll give him that. He was actually pretty good in the playoffs 2 years ago in that Packers game. But yeah, overall, I mean, he never shows up. I mean, he always makes mistakes, fumbles shit away. So that's what he does. We don't need to get into that. Now. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're right. We don't want to, talk and look back on history, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, too, another nugget. I believe Dallas has played the easiest schedule in the league so far.
This year?
Yeah, I think that's what I saw. Either I saw that or that the remaining opponents is the easiest. I don't remember what it was. I think they have the easiest schedule in the league so far. So, I mean, when you really think about it, like, comparing them to the Eagles had to play Atlanta and Seattle in their, the NFC South, NFC West. The Cowboys got to play the Bucs and the 49ers. So, like it's easy pickings for them. But winning at Pittsburgh yesterday, I mean, that was an impressive win, even though the Steelers aren't playing like the Steelers right now.
Still impressive. And you look at the beginning of the year, the Eagles look like they had the hardest schedule out there with the teams they've had to face. But other than Atlanta and Seattle, those other teams haven't been shit at anything. The Bengals are awful. They're not the team they were. The Packers, they look like crap. They don't look like the team of old. So really, the Eagles, I'm not trying to bash on the Eagles either. I love what I've seen out of Wentz, but their schedule looked a lot tougher than it was going to be this year, and it really wasn't. It was an impressive win yesterday for the Eagles, though. Don't get me wrong.
The thing with the Eagles is, like, they're playing these teams when they were hot. And then once they beat them, they got cold. Like the Vikings. Like, the Vikings were 5-0, and they haven't won since.
That's a big win.
Yeah, Pittsburgh was, 3-0? And, no, that was week 3. So they're 2, whatever the fuck.
I think they were 2-1.
2-1. Is that week 3? It was week 3 they beat them. And who else? And then Atlanta came in at 6-3. Atlanta was playing some good ball as well.
Oh, they shut down the best offense in the league. That was fantastic.
Yeah. But again, I think it was more the offense keeping them off the field. Throwing their rhythm off. So I think that's like your perfect example of your offense being your best defense. Although the defense was bringing it too, obviously. So I guess we'll talk a little bit more about this game. We don't really need to talk too much into it because we did the show yesterday and all that. But they still really couldn't shut Julio down. They did and they didn't.
You can't shut Julio down.
Well, when you have fucking Jalen Mills on him, what do you expect? He still did his thing, but Julio also dropped some key balls. He dropped the 3rd and 12, wasn't able to hang on to some balls.
Huge.
But the problem with Atlanta yesterday was they couldn't get any production from anybody else except that Taylor Gabriel touchdown,
which was the one fella. But I think what hurt them too is Telvin Colvin being hurt is huge because they rely a lot on their backs too. And Devin, he couldn't really get it going. And losing Jacob Tammy was big too. They've got a rookie in there, so they really couldn't get it to their tight end. That defensive line was crashing on that offensive line. They were getting to them with ease. They've got okay tackles. They're nothing special, but they get the ball out really quick. But that drop by Julio was a momentum killer, I think. That 3rd and 12 where he had the ball and then he had it and he just dropped it. Oh my God. Yeah. So and then going for it on 4th, but it was awesome. Matty Ice coming home. It was a big win for the Eagles. I hope they carry that momentum over there to play up in Seattle and beat them there. It's going to be really tough to do that.
Not happening.
It's going to be really tough to do that.
I'm going to use some reverse psychology this week, hopefully. Hopefully it works. Because I don't think we have any chance.
I don't think so either. They're really tough at home. That 12th man's pretty stout along with those Legion of Boom guys. They're okay.
The only thing that the Eagles can hope for is that that Seattle win yesterday was maybe the best thing that could have happened to them. So it's a little bit of a trap game. And the other thing working for them is that Seattle's offensive line is not very good. So you can pressure Russell Wilson. Other than that,
yeah.
Eagles fans today are telling me that we're going to win the game. Can win the game. I don't really see it right now. But, hey, if they're competitive, that's kind of what I want to see. If they can hang around, I think they can hang around. I'm looking at I'm seeing 24-17-ish. That's what I'm seeing right now.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. 24-17 Seahawks.
Oh, wow. I don't know if it'll be that close. I think they might maybe beat them by 10 or 13. I don't know if it's going to be that close. I really liked what I saw out of CJ last night, CJ Proce.
Proce?
Proce, whatever you say his name. But he looked awesome. I would just let Rawls rest, Michael too, get them all healed up. But he adds a different element to go with Russell Wilson, I think.
Yeah.
What did he have? 135 yards from scrimmage last night.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he's good. Really solid. So, all right, let's talk some other things. We got about 16 more minutes. I got to do the Sixers stuff tonight for Philly Influencer. So, all right. So, how about Denver returning a extra point block for a touchdown? First time in NFL history that's happened since the rule change. How about that?
I like it. I like the rule change that you can score on these now instead of it just being a dead ball. But the way you figure Drew Brees drove down the field, they scored a touchdown. All Lutz had to do was kick it through the upright, but they block it running all the way back.
That's like the worst way you can lose a football game. I can't think of anything. That's worse than a Hail Mary.
Absolutely, I think so too. Because you're the first team in history to lose on kicking.
What else is worse? Maybe a kick six. I don't know, but I think this is worse because the Saints literally all they needed was an extra point to win the game, and they fucking get it blocked, and it's returned for a touchdown, and they lose because of it. There is nothing worse than that.
No.
There is nothing.
No, there's not. it's just a shame because they were on a hot streak too. That would have been their 5th game won in a row. And I've even said it. I really like what the Saints are doing. They got the number 2 offense in the league. Drew Brees is slinging it all over the place. Their defense sucks. They weren't really facing a great offense last night, but what a way to kill momentum right there for your team going forward even. I mean, because Atlanta lost yesterday too.
Yeah,
so that would have pulled them in with a game or a half a game within the division. It's like, damn, that's a shame. But I like the rule change. I think it's awesome. You can scramble and try to get points on that. So just a shame for New Orleans.
It's like a fluky way to win, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, it shows up in the stat sheet. They lost on that. The first team to ever do it too.
W. So
got the W in the sheet.
Let's talk about some former Eagles. Kiko Alonso, Mr. Belly Shirt himself, returns a interception for a touchdown. The Dolphins are 5-4. That is extraordinary, and it's making me jealous because I wanted Adam Gase so fucking bad, and we're stuck with Doug Peterson. In Tennessee, DeMarco Murray, he killed it against Green Bay. What do you have? 123 yards rushing, threw a touchdown pass. Took the first play from scrimmage for the Titans for a touchdown. So DeMarco's killing it. Kiko's looking better. Byron
had a pick. He had a pick yesterday too.
Byron, yeah.
Yeah,
Byron had a pick. Fuck Howie. But hey, those are the guys that got us Carson Wentz. But at the same time, I mean, man, I was one of those guys, like, I hated Kiko, but at the same time, I realized you had to give him time because he's coming off an ACL tear. And he's looked better this year. And Byron Maxwell, I didn't like when we first made that trade, the Byron Maxwell and Kiko, I didn't like it. A lot of people loved it. I didn't like it that much until we got Wentz. Then my thoughts changed. But to only move up 5 spots for 2 players that are playing pretty good, I never thought Byron Maxwell was that bad. People's perception of him was just fucked up. So yeah, and there's another. Oh, Eric Rose playing okay too. So
he's playing decent. I didn't like get rid of DeMarco. I think you should have kept him here. Even he would have added another element. What they get, a 4th round pick for him?
It was a swap of 4th round picks. They didn't even get a 4th round.
Oh man! So because he's second in to Ezekiel Elliott yards, right?
I get the trade because I know, like, the report says that DeMarco was asking for a trade. He didn't want to be here, so I can understand that. At the time, I didn't really care. I mean, like, I even though I knew he was a fit for Doug Peterson's offense, if he didn't want to be here, fuck him. That's the way I felt at the time.
Right.
So, but yeah, he was a good fit for the offense because of running up the middle and. He's more of a power guy. He's not a guy that runs outside the tackles, obviously. So
he's not a finesse runner.
Yeah. So Tennessee beats the shit out of Green Bay. Green Bay 4-5 now.
And the Lions are number 1 in their division.
Yeah.
The Vikings have dropped 4 in a row. I mean, that's incredible because Detroit was 0-3. In the beginning of the season, and now they're 5-4. They tallied off some wins.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get week in and week out with the Packers or the Dolphins. I can't pick a winner when I'm picking these guys in the pool because it's driving me insane. One week they look really good, and then the other week they look completely lost. I think what's more
genius.
He's a very good coach. I really liked Adam Gase. I was hoping the Eagles were going to get him too. They decided to go with Doug Peterson. It's whatever. He can turn it around.
It's not whatever. Adam Gase is a significant upgrade, and people don't want to fucking say it. People are telling me, stay patient with Doug. Dude, there are better coaches out there, and I know you don't want to hear it. And I get that you have to stay patient. I understand that. I get it. He's going to be here for 2 to 3 years, and I understand it. And he might find success here, but Adam Gase was the guy.
Imagine him with Wentz.
Oh, Adam Gase. Oh, my God. Oh, eggplant emoji with the fucking the Rams.
With the squelch?
Yeah, I'm fucking coming everywhere.
Or even Hugh Jackson. I would have liked to see Hugh here. That would have been awesome too.
Yeah, I know that the Browns are winless, but it's not because of Hugh Jackson.
No, he's going to do something special there if you give him time. But Adam Gase, and they were talking about reports that they want to get rid of Ryan Tannehill, I heard, which I don't know. I know you're not a big Ryan Tannehill guy. I like Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I think they should get. But, hey, they're playing well, so they might not even be able to get, like, a great quarterback.
I don't know. I think he's solid, man. If you give him an offensive line, they're finally starting to build an offensive line. They got a running back there, J.J. He stays healthy. You add another element with another receiver. I mean, he played. I don't know if you watched the Chargers game yesterday, but he played fairly well. He made a really nice couple passes. He was getting hit. He's inconsistent though.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with.
Yeah.
I like him. I think he's a good quarterback.
He's okay. He's average. He's like a Bradford. He's average. Like,
oh, come on. No way.
He's like a Bradford.
No.
He's a Bradford.
God, no. Bradford's just Bradford.
Vikings fans, they put the jinx on it because they came after the bitter bird saying that, Sam Bradford is so good and all this shit. And now they've lost 4 in a row. So good for you guys. Good.
They have had really poor tackle play, and they did lose Norv Turner.
I don't give a fuck. Well, they lost Norv Turner because Sam Bradford wanted his guy. Sam Bradford complained.
Wanted Brad to well, he's a crybaby. We know that. We know he's a crybaby.
He wanted Pat Shurmur. Yeah. Yes, Sam, he is. That's what he is. He's a crybaby. So, all right. What else is there to talk about? That's about it. Let's do final thoughts and let's get out of here then.
Final thoughts. Do you think Carson Wentz, when they face the Packers in 2 weeks, when we go down to the game, how do you think he'll play against this defense? Is not what it once was, but do you think he'll outplay Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, no way. No.
Even with how poor he's been playing.
I don't care how poor Aaron Rodgers is playing. I don't know. I feel like the Packers at some point are just going to flip the switch. I don't know. They've kind of been doing this type of shit over recent years. Like they're not as good as like their record. How do I word this? They're better than their record is, but it's like I don't know. They seem to kind of switch it when it matters. Like they somehow, like last year it didn't happen where they didn't win the division, but they still made the playoffs. What was the 1 year? Like they got hot near the end, and then I don't know. This is just the way they kind of do it. I'm scared that they're going to get hot at our expense,
and then just blow us out. I hope not. I mean, it would be awesome to see, but I hope now when I see it in the beginning of the year, I thought it was going to be a blowout. Well, especially because I thought Sam Bradford was going to be here and Wentz was going to be in street clothes. But now we could see, a quarterback controversy going back and forth here with Aaron Rodgers slinging it with Carson Wentz, going back and forth, scoring touchdowns.
Well, Carson Wentz hasn't really played that well recently either. Well, I shouldn't say he hasn't played well. He hasn't been as like a
crisp.
Yeah, I mean he was good yesterday. I thought he was fine yesterday. Yesterday he was good.
Yeah.
The only really pass I had to complain about was
the fourth down. The fourth down was a little bit of a bonehead play, but he's a rookie.
Yeah, well, he took a sack. Actually, there was a couple plays. He took a sack. He threw behind Aguilar on the slant. I know Aguilar should have made that catch. I get that. And there was a wide receiver screen where he threw behind. But DGB, by the way, he did make a block on that. Dude, DGB is worse than Riley Cooper. Riley Cooper could at least block.
Yeah.
DGB fucking sucks.
You think he just doesn't care? I just feel like he just doesn't give a shit.
I just think he's dumb as shit. I don't think he doesn't give a shit. I think he's just a fucking idiot. I don't know. This it's a complex playbook. He runs sluggish routes. I don't know.
That's why I think he just doesn't care. He doesn't block. He kind of doesn't run. He doesn't even try to learn the route tree at all. And it seems like he's only in there at red zone a lot of the time in the red zone, and they don't even really go to him a lot. So
They tried going to him last week, and he wasn't getting open.
There's no set. Well, that's been the wide receivers all year. No separation.
Yeah, well, DGB gets even less than like at least Aguilar was targeted because he was kind of open. Like DGB, I'll have to watch the tape again, but like I watched the tape last week, and granted he was on Janoris Jenkins. Janoris Jenkins isn't a bad corner, but he wasn't getting open at all. So because I've heard all the complaints today. All the complaints are Jordan Matthews dropping the ball at the end of the first half. Nelson Aguilar the drop on third down. When the facts are DGB's drop rate is worse than Nelson Aguilar. DGB has less yards than Nelson Aguilar. I'm not saying Nelson Aguilar is good. They're both fucking trash. But, like, nobody is saying anything about DGB. It's like almost like he's getting a slide. And I don't understand.
They're enamored with his physical attributes. That's why. That's the only excuse I have because
I guess they're giving him a pass because he's new. I don't know.
Or he's big and they think he's going to break out at some point because that's the only thing I can think of. That they love how big he is and that he runs a 4.3 or a 4.4 at 240.
Because I haven't seen a player in a while get as many excuses from fans as DGB. Like I was basically saying it right. I was like watching him like, man, he's just what he is, And I got off the DGB train real quick.
Yeah, he hasn't really done anything, man. That's probably why they only took Dennis Kelly in that trade.
Well, that's exactly why. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't like when we got DGB, I was excited, but at the same time, you had to be like, the fact that they got him for Dennis Kelly, that says something,
right?
Obviously. Now, I still think we won the trade because Dennis Kelly is like even fucking worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dennis Kelly is never, ever, ever, ever going to be better than DGB. It's just not possible. Dennis Kelly is fucking terrible. So Eagles won the trade, but DGB just isn't very good right now, and I don't know if he ever will be. He might just be an average guy, just like Nelson Aguilar is. I don't even think they're average. Like they're below average. They're among starters, they're below average. But, like, when you think of a regular wide receiver, obviously you got fourth-string guys, fifth-string guys. They're, like, average. But, yeah, they are what they are, and that's it. And we got to cut this show because the Sixers starts at 8, and I'm going to be busy. So, with that, I guess we did our final thoughts. So, with that being said, Kyle Gaffner, I am Adrian Fedke. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'm going to be making an appearance on the Fourth and John podcast with E-Rock. Sean Brace and I are going to be heading up there to the studio. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We are crashing the studio. It's going to be cool. All right, Kyle Gaffner, I'm Adrian. We're out. Peace.